Yeah, sounds great. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Julie Smithson, and I am the co-founder and chief operating officer for Metaverse, and really proud to be on this team of amazing and talented computer vision experts, immersive designers, compliance directors, and of course, the marketing strategy around this and bringing in clients to our leadership team. So thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to share my screen this time. Hopefully it won't be, hopefully this will work great. And we're going to play a video for you as well. So just bear with me as I skip ahead here. Can you hear?
Yep, we got you.
Okay.
Welcome to METAVRSE, the leading creation platform for the spatial web. We make it easy to create interactive 3D experiences and deliver them instantly to every modern device, computers, smartphones, and mixed reality headsets. The world is transitioning to Web 3, characterized by 3D websites, digital asset ownership, and pervasive AI integration. We work closely with major enterprises like Siemens Healthineers, Samsung, MasterCard, Mars, and Microsoft to bring immersive 3D experiences to everyone, from healthcare professionals to everyday consumers. Our mission at METAVRSE is clear: METAVRSE creation for everyone. We believe that by making 3D creation more accessible, we can empower individuals and businesses to participate in the spatial computing revolution. Our flagship product, the METAVRSE Engine, brings together the power of the open web with the possibilities of immersive technologies. Design and build 3D scenes, add custom interactions, and push to over 7 billion devices with just one click. Looking ahead, we're thrilled to announce METAVRSE Engine 2.0, our fully enterprise-ready upgrade featuring future-proof extensibility, enhanced security, and cutting-edge features. We hope you'll join us in shaping the future of spatial computing and be part of the revolution that will redefine how we communicate, collaborate, and create. Thank you.
Great. All right.
So while we're both here on the screen, why don't you tell us a little story about how we got here, Julie? Because I know, it gets impersonal a little bit. Sometimes you're looking at presentations and we're showing all this cool technology, but there really are people behind this. And we've worked really hard to put together an incredible team. So I'll let you maybe speak to how we got here.
Yeah, sure. Well, going back into 2016, that's when we started Metaverse for the first time. But years before, we actually created touchscreen technology for the music industry. And that, I think, pivoted us from working with immersive technologies and understanding how deep can you go with this technology. And that's what led us into you learning about VR and the applications around, the immersive space led to all sorts of questions for us on how we could be involved in. And that also led us to seeing the changes in education that needed to be made. So that led us to an even bigger mission to inspire and educate the next generation with these technologies to help people understand them. And that's where I play a big role in XR Women, a community of 800 plus women around the world that are working on building immersive technologies. And it's there that we're learning all about this, and we're bringing that back here to Metaverse and applying all that learning and knowledge to the projects that we're building with our engine.
Awesome. So if you guys are interested, xrwomen.com. They meet every single Wednesday. They met today. And how many events have you done now?
We celebrated our 145th event in a row, 3 years.
Yeah. Wow, incredible. Congratulations for putting women on the map in XR. Well, with that, I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to dive right into a demo, because there's nothing quite like a live demo to get everybody's attention. So first of all, I just want to point out that everything you'll see today is running in a browser. If you'll notice my whole browser tab here, I've got different things in here, and they're all running in the browser tab. I've got the presentation here as well in Google Slides. So I'm able to do this from any device, whether it's a cell phone or smartphone, computer, tablet, or even in VR as well. all through a browser. So what you'll see here is a training experience. And one of the things that we've been able to do with this engine is really create the ability to rapidly create 3D content and deploy it to all devices. You don't have to build an iOS version, an Android version, a desktop version. You can really just kind of start building and then deploy it. And we've got it so that, it recognizes what device you're on and can give you the optimized device, the optimized performance for whatever device you're on. So right now I'm on a MacBook Pro M1, but you could do this on an iOS, Apple 12 phone. So this will work across any device. And this is a very small example, but as we progress, we'll show you some larger and larger examples, which I think will hopefully blow your mind. So we were able to work with one of our clients and create a whole training system on how to use the machines, explain, what the parts are and that sort of thing. And of course, it's fully spatial. And of course, learning about that, you can also start to do things that you could never do in real life and, exploded views. And we were able to break this down right down to the screws, nuts, and bolts. And this ended up becoming part of the training regime for that company. And they saw a 40% savings in training and, of course, increased retention, because now you have the full ability to understand things spatially. And yes, it's not going to be ever as good as having the real thing in front of you. But some of the machines that we're dealing with are in the millions of dollars, and they don't have extra ones for people to pull apart and learn on. So this is the next best thing for that. And so what I'll show you now, we also incorporated, one interesting thing is we incorporated a full teach, try, test system in here, where you can learn how to, let's say, for example,
is completely turned off.
You can, let me
Loosen
just,
the 4 hex screws located
can you hear the
in
audio or
lower
no?
rear panel of the
Okay,
instrument.
perfect.
Do not remove them completely.
We can do this in any language. So we use AI to do the voiceovers, and we use Google Translate to translate to every language. And we have a system that can update all of these automatically across the whole, full CMS system.
Carefully lift the panel.
I'll mute that. We don't need to talk about it. So we can now have the ability to zoom into products from any angle and learn about how to do this. So, disconnect the power supply, undo these screws, so you can really understand this. But what's really interesting is once you kind of figure that out, okay, got it, then you can go back and you can try it. So I can go try it now, go through the same learning. Okay, power supply, great. Now I actually have to click those screws. And if I don't click the screws, it won't work. And so now if I, let's say I click something over here, nothing works. I have to click the back panel and I have to do the work. I have to go step by step and it tells me yes or no. And I get that. So then once you've got that, and I think this is really important to show the kind of the trifecta of this, you can test people. And we incorporated this right into the learning management system. So now you can, here, if the screen fails, I don't even know what this is, PowerBoard. Okay, we'll go with that. Next question. We'll go whatever, multimeter, motherboard, screen source, complete display. Okay. And then I can literally I can click these things and, oh, those are the pulse controls actually. And then transducer cables are down here. And so you can label them. And then once I click it, I get a score. I get 3 out of 4. Woo! And that can go directly. This is obviously not a complete test. Obviously, it's just a sample. But the idea is that now you can test people on these things from anywhere in the world and get them to proficiency before they ever step foot. Now, some of the technologies that we had to build for this it's really important to kind of highlight some of the technologies. So these buttons here, the overview, the ones that you see here, all these buttons, not the ones in the 3D space, but in the 2D space, are all based on an HTML or CSS HUD system. So you can use existing HTML and build it right in there. We built our own 3D rendering core, which allows us to have really high resolution 3D models delivered through a browser. It also deploys to all devices, so you don't have to build an iOS, Android, Mac OS, Windows version. It's just one click, publish to all. And of course, you can build this on premises. It's cloud agnostic. So with that, I'll stop and I'll pass it over to Julie.
Thank you. Okay, let me get to the right slides. So again, enterprise applications, we've dropped a QR code here for you to try yourself. The link is there too. And the value that we were seeing was the rapid 3D creation and instant deployment of all devices that we provided, and 40% savings on training, increasing the retention levels and incorporating it into a management learning system so that the workbooks could incorporate those virtual labs. The technology that was used here was the HTML, CSS HUDs, the 3D rendering core that runs on any platform from iOS, Android, Mac OS, Windows OS, and without having to make separate apps for each of them, and the on-premise hosting and cloud being cloud agnostic. So that's a peek into our training applications. Alan?
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. So the next thing I'm going to show you is a product that we built called METAVRSE. And METAVRSE is virtual meetings made fun. So the idea here is, Zoom for 3D meetings with all the functionality of video sharing and that sort of. What I'm going to show you, I'm going to start here. This assumes you've logged in and you can create your avatar. So I'll go in here and we have a bunch of avatar drop downs here. I'll just say, oh, this guy with the funky hair, I like him. Cool. And I'm doing this all real time, so bear with me if it does take a bit of time. This is all real time. Alan Siggraph. There we go. Save that. And now I've got this, so I'll select that avatar. And now that avatar is going to follow me into the next part. So I'm going to create custom room here. So when you create your custom room, we'll call it Siggraph. And then you can have only users join this private room. So if you only have registered users, or you can have just random guests, no problem at all. You would have to send them the link. You can create a POAP, or a proof of attendance certificate, all secured on the HBAR or Hedera network, which is our blockchain partner, Hedera. And then other things you can do is you can select required prior room attendances. So for example, if you had a bunch of meetings and you only wanted people that were at those 5 meetings to come to the next one, you could do that as well. So you can have token gated systems for people that you want to give them a token to come to. It's almost like ticketing. And then of course you can choose the date and time of this event, but I'm not going to choose time. I'm just going to schedule the meeting and bypass all of those things. If you'll notice, we have a bunch of room options here. You can choose any one of these rooms. So I'll choose this one here. And then you can add your guests. So I can send an email to somebody. I can generate new links. And here, what I'll do is I'll put this in the chat to Julie, and maybe Julie can join me in there. I'll close that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and enter the experience. And I'm doing this all real time, by the way, just so I want you to know that, if it takes a little longer, it's because we're running Zoom as well. So one of the benefits to this is that you get really enhanced engagement, and people. Oh, there's Julie. I can let her in here because I have a guest waiting list, and you really get this kind of sense of immersion that, like, I'm in this space here. I can walk around. I can see my avatar. I can jump by using space. So it's WASD like a normal video game. They use the mouse to look around, and yeah, we can go have a little private conversation over here. Let's see if Julie's made it in here. Oh, there she is. And if you want, you can click your avatar and I can do a little dance. I can maybe send some hearts. There you go. Hey, Julie. Julie, here, I'll send my heart so you can see it. So what she's seeing on that side is that. There we go. And I can point. And of course, this is very early days, but we built our own avatar system as well, because we didn't want to be reliant on different avatar systems. Of course, if you want in the future, you can bring Ready Player Me avatars and that sort of thing, but you can go to first person and you notice that these buttons on the left here show up. So you can always come back to third person, right? So there we go. And I'll just go back into first person. Do that again. That was awesome. Send some love. Hey, awesome. Cool. So there we go. We have, this is Metopia. And one of the cool things is we can also chat. And this is all happening real time. Julie's on Zoom with me. You can say, wave your hand. It's all real. We're not faking it. Did you get the chat in the chat room there? Oh, there we go. Hi. Awesome. So it's all real time. It's working. And the other thing we can do, and I'm sure it's going to work. Let's try. There we go. So we can do video. I'll turn that on and you'll be able to see my video there. And then if Julie turns her video on, and we can turn the picture on, and there we go. She's up here in the top left. And if I go back to the 3D space, I'm not sure why that's not showing there. Hold on, let's see. It should show up here.
I think
not
that
working. The
the
demos.
point here
Might
is
be
that
Zoom.
we're moving into a spatial meeting space, and we're seeing that trend of collaboration happening in enterprise and businesses of bringing people together. So we're literally taking our Zoom and Google Meets and Teams links, and we're going into the Z dimension and becoming avatars, creating digital identities, and now we'll start to interact, and that's where we go to the next level, right, Alan?
Absolutely. We even we're starting to push the limits. You know, one of the technologies that we've put in here is multiplayer. Obviously, we've got multiple people in here. We've got WebRTC, the ability to screen share, token gating, like I said before, and also the ability to use VR and WebXR. So we'll be pushing that very soon, so you can come in these rooms in VR as well. And you'll notice that our avatars do have legs. They have the legs. They walk. Awesome. So what I'll do now is I'll just show you one more setting here. We actually are able to, through the engine, add real-time shadows. I don't know if this one has a light, but here, let me go over to where the light is. So you'll notice there's a light shining from the outside, and I'm able to cast shadows not only from my avatar, but on my avatar. And it gives a nice sense of realism, especially in virtual worlds. So it really adds to that kind of sense of presence and being there. Every time you can push a little bit of extra something to make it look realistic, it's better. And I will just remind everybody that we're just running in a browser here, and I've got several of them open. So I'll stop with there, and I'll pass it over to Julie again.
Yeah, I think it's also, just to continue from what you were saying, Alan, the different measures of seeing shadows and qualities, it's really setting us up for being able to publish right to the web to every device, and then for the system to be able to adapt to whether you're in mobile or you're on a tablet or you're on a desktop. So we're building all of these settings. They may not be automatic right away, but they will be soon. And as we're going,
a lot of them are. A lot of the stuff you don't see, it's all in the background, and it's like, oh, you're on a smartphone. Here, you should have it at 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second because you have a newer phone. Yeah.
That's right. And we're pushing at 60 frames per second on the highest level quality across all devices. So that's pretty exciting. And
actually, it'll go up to 120 as well. Yeah, we're able to push up to 120.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be great when we start to go immersive into VR and other headsets. So,
Vita, are you going to show that slide?
I am going to show this slide. Sorry, I was just finishing our conversation. So METAVRSE, real-time collaboration platform. The value that we're providing is enhanced engagement and immersion. We're providing value of cost and time efficiency around using tools like Zoom and Meets and being able to meet right away on the web. Accessibility, inclusivity, and flexible and scalable environments that can be customized. And the technology that we're using here is the multiplayer. It's RTC, real-time communications with chat, video, and screen share. It can be token gated entry with POAPs. And I think this is a great gateway into Web3 solutions where you can start to add NFTs and blockchain applications into the experiences. And WebXR, WebGL, GPU is all coming very soon. There's a code there, and I'm going to flip off this screen because it's starting to be a little glitchy and not repetitive.
It's making me dizzy. What's happening?
That's making me dizzy.
Whose idea was to do a spinning GIF? Love it.
Okay, back over to you.
All right, the next awesome thing we're going to show is the mall. The mall is the world's largest virtual mall. It is 100 floors. What you're about to see is floor 1, and you're about to see 50% of floor 1, half of floor 1, so about 500,000 square feet. It is, it's all, again, web-based. It's 100 floors, and each floor is 1 million square feet, so it's 100 million square foot virtual mall. So just like METAVRSE, you'll notice that the interfaces are all very similar, and that's because they are. And the idea, it was to have one code base that we could serve all sorts of different use cases. And so here we go. And you have your friends list as well, so you can invite people. You can also, I have 10,000 coins, and I'm uber rich in the coins, but we have a whole coin system for loyalty programs as well. And then let's go in. So this one might take a little bit longer because it's a much larger world. It's 500 megabyte world, and it is it's really interesting because a lot of the tech that we needed to do for this really comes down to something, so simple as multi-threading. Like the web traditionally, or up until now, really, you couldn't multi-thread. And so you were kind of limited by, being able to asynchronously load things. And so what you'll notice, we've been able to use that technology because we figured out multi-threading. We've been able to use that to create these kind of infinite LOD, we call them, or level of details in the distance, so that as I walk up to something in like like different games, I can walk up to something and it gets better and better, the quality. So, I mean, the quality is also, pretty great from afar, but you'll notice when you really go up to something, it really gets super, and I'll go into first person. There's no aliasing, there's no, just very clean. You can even kind of take a look. Maybe I'll jump off here. What's down there? I can look up. Here, let me go into full screen here, give you the full effect. So yeah, got this beautiful spaces in here. We've partnered with InWorld AI. They're a conversational AI, and you're going to be able to talk to concierge inside the mall using their amazing AI system. We've got all these little spaces, and you'll notice as I walk around here, things are actually developing. So you see in that far distance there, the room kind of developed. I'll move away here in that back where it says decor config. See, it went away there. What we've designed is this new technology called multi-zips. And the idea is that whole decor config room is a project. This one here with Bamboo Meadows, which is another one of our partners, they do NFTs inside of Apple and Google Wallet. It's really slick technology. But that whole space there is their space. They own that space. They can publish to it. And this art gallery here is all its own space as well. And so we are able to then publish them real time. So let's say I turn around, if you publish it and I turn back, it will change real time. And so it's really dynamic in that way. You don't have to, wait for an app update or anything like that. You can be in world and people can be pushing changes. This allows us to have many vendors all within a confined space working together and harmoniously. So if I go in here, for example, maybe I want to have a configurator, or rose gold. Yeah, rose gold. Maybe we want the floor to be marble. Here, I'll go into first person. You can see me. Let's change this table to gold. No, rose gold for sure. There we go. Copper, gold, copper. Yeah, so you can see that we can build anything right from the carpet. So this is all just a configurator, and all the configurators is we have a whole configuration system in the engine, which I'll show you in a second. So there you go. That's the mall, and I'll run you over here to one more section in the mall because I think it's super cool. We're building a video game arcade. I'll take you through the art gallery here. Check out the art. You can always come in here. There'll be a link shown in a minute. But one of the things in the mall, and you will be able to buy power-ups. You will be able to buy rocket skates so you can get across the mall faster. But in here, you got the Juicyverse, and this is going to be on floor 2. And we worked with Mars Wrigley to build the Starburst Juicyverse, and it won an award for Best Digital Marketing Campaign this year. And we're super excited to have Mars Wrigley on floor 2 of the mall. This is our blockchain partner Hedera's office. They're having an office here where they can host events. They can have little meetups and stuff like that. So they're going to be hosting a meetups there. And if I can sneak around here, up here, we have our arcade. I'll look down on it, just show you the arcade. We've got a huge Ryu in here. And you'll be able to play video games on these screens very soon. Little mini video games will pop up in iframes. So we're able to bring iframes directly into the mall as well. This is our partner BitPay. They allow us to take payments in all different cryptocurrencies. So we accept payments in, of course, fiat and of course in cryptocurrencies. So, and then the last but not least, I'll just show you another. So you'll see here, there's nothing in this room. The shoe's not there. And as I walk in, the multi-zip recognizes that I'm getting close, loads it in for me. And then I have a full customized. And did you see the geometry get a little better as I got closer there? So as I walk away, you can see the geometries change real time. And so I can make my own Nike shoe and make this one red. So there you go. So with that, I'll stop and pass it back to Julie. Themall.io.
And the one big piece that you did not mention is the fact that you can go shopping with other people. So the real-time communication, social aspect, the whole let's go shopping together. Let's go check out this product is something Alan did not show in his demo, but opening up your communications portal, just like we are doing here with video, audio, and chat, is available. And that's the power of the mall, is being able to go and experience these things with other people, and also real time see what kind of shoe are we building, what does the living room, what is it going to look like. And this is where increased brand engagement's going to play a part. And that's my next slide here, just recognizing the value of increased brand engagement, and gamifying things that can be social. You and your friends or colleagues can go on an adventure hunt in the retail space, and that you can tie that into brands. And what great way, just like our Juicyverse partner, our Starburst partners with Mars Wrigley and Mars Agency, they gamified that whole experience. So it's taking that brand engagement to a whole new level, where increased revenue, of course, the big value for everybody, starts to play, because there's an emotion of fun and and reward that can be attached to a brand that makes people go back for more. So the technology we used that Alan talked about was the multi-zips, the infinite LOD, the geometries and textures, as well as the physical digital products sold in fiat and crypto. The mall is Web3 ready to go, as well as Metopia, ready for those great experiences and tying them nicely, and all running on the web. So over to you, Alan.
So cool. I'm so excited. The last part, which I think you guys will like the most because you're Siggraph, is how the sausage is made. Because it's great that we have these great experiences that we can run around, but how are they made? How is this thing powered, and how is the editor working? So this is the Metaverse editor. It's the powered by the Metaverse engine. Obviously, all of these projects everything's powered by the engine, but everything's built on this editor and then deployed accordingly. So I'll just walk you through it quickly. We've got your projects. Obviously, you've got projects that you make, and whoa, what just happened? Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. I'm good. I meant it. I two-fingered back. Sorry about that. You've got all your projects here, and then I've got my account. So I've got all my name and password and that sort of thing. Subscriptions. So I've got my subscription right now. I'm on a free account. They're all free accounts right now. We don't have it connected to a payment system right now, but you can build whatever you want. Basically, there's no limits right now. And then marketplace. So also we have this thing called booster packs, which we'll announce later, but you won't have to go up another seat or something like that. You'll be able to buy these booster packs. We're still working on that now. And then marketplace, you can go and buy those things, licenses and booster packs. And then you can have different organizations. So this is super cool because you can add different admins and super admins to this, and really you can also have different workspaces. And this allows you to expand and have a whole group of people working together. So you have different workspaces, and each person in that workspace can now contribute as a member or an admin, or however you want them to contribute. But it's actually right now it's asynchronous editing together, but pretty soon it will be synchronous editing as well. So you'll be able to edit projects real time anywhere in the world together from this editor. So let me create a project here. We'll call it Siggraph. And you can either, well, right now it's all of them are public and visible only when you publish. All right. So I'll walk you around the editor, and we'll just kind of start by showing you can resize any of the windows you want. Anything can be resized, pretty much all of them. And then you can grab this one here. It affects the HUD too. And then, so this is your 3D scene. And to put it in perspective, I will just put a cube in there. And this cube is 1 meter by 1 meter cubed. And you have a ton of space to work with in here. It's a kilometer by a kilometer, the map, and you have the ability to build whatever you want within that kilometer by kilometer space. So with that, I'll just hide that for now, and I'll show you around. So right top left, you've got your save, export, exit. project. So if you wanted to export, it'll export the actual entire project. So you can then send the entire project package to somebody. They just drag and drop. So what I'll do is I'll show you what that looks like. Actually, you literally just drag it onto the screen and drop it and it opens up. So we won't do that. You can rename up here if you wanted to. Won't do that. You have the ability to have different scenes. And right here, you can search for things in your, and this is everything that's in your space. So let's say, for example, I added a cylinder and I added a icosahedron, and maybe I just move that one over there, and we'll put that one over there, and there we go. So I got my three objects here, and you notice they're in here. So if I were to move one or highlight it, it highlights here, and it highlights there. So whatever I click in the scene correlates to the 3D space as well, okay? So underneath that, you have, and I'll get to these buttons in a second when we build stuff, but I'm just showing you around for now. Underneath here, you have the HTML HUDs, or the HUDs in general. If I click plus, you can see now that it opens up a panel over here. And whenever I click something in either the scene or the HUD or the asset, or the scene in the HUD rather, you notice that it opens up a panel here on the right. And then I can add my HTML text. I can change my styles. I can do my full editing from in here. And I have that whole panel on the side to deal with my CSS and HTML HUDs. So with that, I also can click on an object, and I have in this is the textures and stuff. So I'll give me a second, and I'll show you that. That is really all the attributes of an object in the 3D space. But below this, so I'm going to go scene, HUD, and down below here is the assets. So these are all assets, not necessarily in the 3D world, but assets that may be there. So for example, this is a skybox, and we have a piece of JavaScript here. And what we're going to do is we're going to import a project real time here. And it's a project with a skybox, a roughness, texture, normal, metalness, and albedo, and then a FBX with an animation in it. So I'm going to make a new folder, call it robot 1, and go upload. And you'll notice they're all uploading, and it uploads into the cloud, and it makes it available to me right away. And you'll notice that if I hide these ones here, I'm left with my robot. Oops, that one there. And I can move my robot. And if I want to rotate it, I can grab the gizmo change up here, where I can either change things. And if, let's say I want to move it, I can grab the arrow. If I want to resize it, I can hold shift. And if I want to, it's not going to look good with this, but let's say I want to stretch this square out into a rectangle, I can go control shift and stretch it. So you have the stretch feature as well. Okay. So now I'm going to turn off the rotate. And this button here is your grid, turn on and off. And the next one over is your snap to 0. So let's say I'm way out here, I forget where I am, and I don't know where I am. I can just snap to 0. This is 0, 0, 0. Okay. So I'll make that a little bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my grid back on so I know where everything is, because otherwise it's very disoriented. And there we go. Okay. So now that is your assets. And you noticed on the assets here that I imported these things, and let's add the texture files on here. So in the first one, you have the transform. You've got the ability to cast shadows, show shadows. So let's say, for example, I'm casting shadows and maybe I don't want it to show shadows on the thing. I'll leave it like that. Render back faces. I can turn that off as well. And then we're not rendering the back faces. Render FOV and then render LOD. These are all on by default, but you can turn them on and off. And front facing as well. Maybe you want to have a piece of like maybe a name over the head that always faces you front, or maybe it's a volume or a video that you want to always face the person. You can do front facing and it'll always face the front. And I'll click this next one over here. And of course, these are just your positions, right? I can move it around. Put 0 there. And then you can scale as well and rotate, right? Put that back at 0. Okay, next thing here is your meshes. So you have a full mesh library here, meshes, materials, and groups. So I'm going to grab the meshes and I'm going to grab all of them by selecting here, and that selects all. And then I'm just going to take the roughness and put it on the roughness. And when you'll notice is I have real-time reflections off the skybox. So I put the roughness on, and then if I put the metalness on there, and the albedo, and the normals. All right, perfect. So now it looks like pretty realistic looking robot, looking good. Great. I got my shadows looking good. And maybe I want to put a plane underneath because I want to be able to see the shadows. So put that down. We'll make it huge. Got a plane now. And let's just see if it's sitting on the plane. It's not. So take it and bring it down. Oh, there, not too far. I'll go underneath it. And then what I have to do is I have to click that, the plane here, and go back into here and say show shadows. Then I go into this last button up here that I didn't show you yet. And this button up here right above the scene in the world is your world controller. And this allows you to do things like turn on shadows, show the skybox. Say I want to zoom out here and I'll show you the skybox, right? And that skybox is reflecting off, everything is real time there. And then I'm going to click there again, and I can enable shadows, and you notice the shadows get turned on immediately. And then you have the background colors. So turn that off. You can change the background color if you wanted to. Oops, sorry, I gotta turn that off. You can change the background color to whatever I want. I can enable FOV as well. I won't do that for now for the shadows. I can change the render method to default and off screen. There's two different renderers. I can change the FPS to whatever I want. I'll put 60 for this one. Can change pixel resolution. That's interesting for making smaller HUDs and stuff like that for mobile phones and stuff. Anti-aliasing, I'll leave it on for now. It's on by default, but you can turn anti-aliasing off. So if you're trying to squeeze a little bit extra power and you don't need the anti-aliasing, you turn it off. Portrait, landscape, or you can literally lock it to one of those based on the mobile phone. HUD scale, this is really interesting because when you have different HUD buttons, you can scale them all together rather than having to do them individually. It's really helpful. We have a physics debugger that basically shows you all the different things here, and I can add, let's say, for example, to my robot, I can add a rigid body, and I can, then have a rigid body that you can see that the rigid body is below the plane there, or below the thing. So I could actually bring that up and move it around. But I'll turn that off for now. So we don't need the physics debug for now, but you have it there. And then of course your FOV size, FOV toggle on and off, and I'm just going to leave those off for now. And then you can drop some CSS files in there as well. So for power users, we have something really interesting that I think you're going to like. So that is the world controller there. Now diving into the coding side of things, because we've really tried to minimize the code as much as possible. Up here, I'm just going to shrink this down so I get a little bit more real estate here. I know I'm sharing over the screen, but what I wanted to just show you is the ability to change the aspect ratio based on the size of your monitors and that sort of thing as well. Maybe for this presentation, I'll leave it where it was at 80. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you how to create a video. We're going to add a video. We're going to add a light. We're going to add a camera. We're not going to add a HUD, but we're going to add, that's it, actually, what we're going to do. So we're going to add a video, and I'm going to import a video. Just real time here. In 2 seconds, I got to go, and there it is. I'm importing the video, and I'll put it into my robot folder. Now, you can also host a video on, Amazon Web Services or Azure or something, and then put the link in here. So you can either put the link through the URL in here, or you can drop the file in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the video file in here. It's a very short video, so you don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to mute it. There's the video, mute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another plane in here. And I'm going to, let's go, because I need to know where 0 is. I'm going to grab this plane and I pull it out here, and I'm going to rotate it. And then I'm going to scale it out a bit, and I'm going to make it super white, really bright. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply that video to it. Perfect. Let that save. Great. Okay. Then all I do, so I go back to my video that we made here. So the video's in here, and when I click on this plane, I just take the video that we made and drop it onto, oops, sorry, I have to be into the meshes. I just drop the video onto the albedo, and it's there. And there's my video. And then if I go back to the video and I press play, you notice that it plays real time. Okay, so perfect. Rid of that, rid of that. There we go. I'm just going to scale that up a bit. Perfect. So now I've got my video in there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the light. I've got a real-time lighting. I can increase and decrease the lighting in the space. I'll just put it at like 1.5, and then I can, maybe I want to move it up, and real-time lights. Every time you add a light, it does take power. So, be cautious with your lights and be just be reasonable. Camera's really awesome. Anywhere I want the camera to be, let's say, for example, I want the camera to be, I don't know, let's say here. I go use current location. Now, wherever I am in the scene, if I'm way out here, I just go to location. It'll take me back here. And yeah, just snaps me back to the 0. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie it all together. I'm going to take this robot. I'm going to make it a button by adding some code. So in here, we've got a set of animations. So I can swipe through the animations. You can see that it animates. Great. I've got an info panel here that tells me all the information about that object. And then the last one is this really cool thing called the components or controller. And what this does is it allows me to add JavaScript from over here in the assets. I can grab a make a controller, and we will open this up to anybody who wants to build these we call them code snippets. But the idea here is that we have a piece of JavaScript. We have an onboard JavaScript editor you can edit directly from in here. And we've got this piece of JavaScript that when dropped on to a button or object in 3D space gives me all these different options. So it gives me a camera option. I take the camera that we made, drop it on, and say enable after camera. Then I go camera duration and say, let's call it 4 seconds. Perfect. Configuration. So I didn't show you configurations. I'll show you that afterwards. But object animation, all you do is take your object, your FBX in this case, which is now a C3B. What you'll notice is our system automatically converts to our Cherry 3D binary, because Cherry 3D was the original thing, and it's our nod to the original rendering technology company. And so robot.fbx.c3b is now in there. Of course, I've got my animation there. And I can slow it down, speed it up, all that type of thing as well. And then I'm going to add the video component. I just take the video that we made, drop it in, and play after camera, and let's see what happens. And everything's happening real time, so you'll know, how long it's going to take to load a project, that type of thing. Okay, so I'm in my space here, and maybe I want to let's take a little photograph here. That'll be my load screen. So now that'll be my load screen. And if I should be, theoretically, if I click this button, it should fly me in and animate the robot and play the video. Okay, but now what we want to do is maybe we don't want to animate or turn the video on until after we finish the fly-in. So let's try that. So we're going to go back to the robot, which has that piece of code. And I'm going to say video start after camera. Okay, perfect. So let's try that now. So you can see how real time I'm able to make changes, and without having to write any code at all, I can get a long ways. And so the combination of having to write code and then, and using code snippets together is the real magic sauce. So it takes 4 seconds, fly in, animate the robot, play the video. And this could be, a shooting game, or it could be activate a training manual or video or something like this. So the cool thing is, now that we have all this built, one thing I'm going to add in here is a configuration. This is the ability to change something in the scene. I'm going to make a really simple one. I'm going to go into new configuration mode. Anything I do in the scene now. So in this case, I'm just going to change the color to red. And then I can exit, and I can turn that on or off. Exit, there we go. And I can turn the red on and off, okay? So now I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to add that configuration to the piece of code snippet by simply dragging it over to the configuration, enabled after camera, and now preview. This robot will turn the base red and fly in, and will do all the things that it's supposed to do, I believe. Let's go. Real-time demo. Amazing. So there you have it. That's the basis for the engine. And of course, I'm just not doing it justice. Of course, you can now build massive virtual worlds like this as well, not just that. So to show you that it is real and live, I'm going to publish this project that we just built together, and you'll be able to shine your phone on the QR code right now and try it real time, just to show that I'm not, making this all up. You can do that now. Shine your phone on the phone camera on there, and I'll stop there and I'll pass it over to Julie in a second here. I'll just let people try that one more thing. I'll leave it for 5, 4, 3, 2.
Sorry, there we go. That while people are scanning it, this is just the beginning, as you said, of what could be created in this, within this editor, and projects like the ultrasound, with our partner, creating that and connecting it into business intelligence tools is the key. And being able to publish this right to the web is where we're leading to with interoperability within all of these systems. And that's what's important to business and enterprise. So there you can see Alan's creation, live web link, fully interactable. This could be your website. This could be a training module, a retail experience. It could be anything. So, this is where the mission of metaverse creation for everyone. Let me do a quick, sorry, hold on, I think it's wrong. Let me get, this is the slideshow. I'm trying to manage my screens, but let me do a quick summary of the editor. So the 3D editor, the value is that it's web-based, so no app stores, permissions or commissions. 10 times faster to build and deploy experiences. You build once and it deploys everywhere. It's low code and professional onboard scripting. And we accept in the editor all major formats: OBJ, FBX, GLTF, JPEG, MP3, and MP4. The technology itself is multiplayer, multi-editor. You can save to Git, scalable Kubernetes infrastructure, and browser multi-threading. These are what makes this engine as powerful as it is. And we didn't know in the early days about how the architecture would be built, but when you start to think about these experiences and all the different components that have to go into them, the term multi-zips kind of gives it off too. There's so many things going on within an experience, everything from a skybox to 3D assets to the marketplace to business intelligence tools, and you need to be able to have the power of a game engine to be able to support all of these transactions, all of these interactions, all of these experiences happening at the same time. So to have that run on a web browser and to connect with powerful business information tools to be able to feed inventory or HR evaluations or sales tools. This is the power of immersive technology and being able to go right to the web from as little, I say little, but it's pretty powerful as a handheld device to tablets to computers, and then moving into headsets. So the QR code is there. Sign up for your very own 3D creator account. It is our version 2. You will get the workspaces and come join with us, create with us. Can't wait I think that's one of the most exciting things as a team. We always used to see, what are people creating? How are you seeing this technology apply to your business and the solutions that you're looking for today? All right. So Alan, what's next?
So maybe just show the HBAR.
Oh, sure.
slide.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't
This
worry about
slide
it.
actually just, this slide actually just shows us the position in the ecosystem, being web-based, low code, and some of the other competitors out there. But here we go. Yeah. Alan, do you want to speak to this?
Sure. So Hedera is a layer 1. It's we say blockchain, but it's really a hash graph. It's a different way of looking at it. They were really proof of stake before that was a thing. The whole idea is that they've built a system that is of trusted nodes. So for example, IBM, Boeing, Dell, LG, Google, these are all nodes, and they serve a 3-year term as a governing council. And by having those nodes, it's now a trusted entity, so you don't have to do proof of work. And so they were environmentally friendly before anybody even thought of it. And so, now that, they're doing billions of transactions, they've done more transactions than Ethereum. They have to be efficient. And so they're able to do far more transactions than any of the other chains. and they're really focused on enterprise applications. And so we partnered with them because we didn't want to, we just didn't want to get caught up in the kind of crypto hype. We wanted to create real, sustainable, long-term solutions, and Hedera was the only choice that was evident for that. So we're super excited to partner with them. We've built this technology directly into the engine, so you can mint NFTs, you can have token-gated rooms, you can create tokens, you can have a loyalty program, and all of the things we showed you, like Metopia is a whole platform for doing meetings. You could build your own platform for doing meetings. You could build, something better than we have. Amazing. Please do so. You could build your own virtual mall. Go build something amazing. The idea here is that we created as many test cases, as many use cases as possible. We've done the training, we've done meetings and collaborations, we've done retail, we've done marketing, and all of these things really are just to inspire you, the builders, the creators, to go forth and use this tool and create real value for not only your organizations, but yourself personally as well. Maybe you've got a band and you want to have a band jam or a presentation or a pitch or whatever it is you want to use these technologies for. They're yours to use, and we're just super grateful to be part of the Siggraph community. And thank you. We'll take any questions that you have, and hopefully we can answer them. So this slide, this QR code will take you to metaverse.com/links, and metaverse.com/links takes you to all the products that I showed you today: the editor, Metopia, and the mall. So you can go directly there.